Today I saw the Stephen King reboot film titled It, or as some are calling it, It Chapter 1, since it's basically the first half of the novel interpretation. And I'm going to be reviewing this solely based on it being the film itself. I'm not going to judge it to the novel because, to be honest, I haven't read the novel, and it's been a long time since I've actually seen the 1990 TV miniseries. But the only connection that I'll really give my thoughts on when comparing the TV miniseries to this first chapter will be the portrayals of Pennywise, which was first played by Tim Curry in 1990, and in this one, Bill Skarsgård, I hope I got his name right. Judging by those two performances, I would have to say that Bill did a phenomenal job and not only made the character his own and didn't try to be like how Tim Curry portrayed the character. I would say he did a better job, because in my point of view of Pennywise, I've always viewed Pennywise to be a psychological driven, manipulative character, and that's just something I didn't see from Tim Curry when I went on YouTube a couple of months ago to check out some clips on YouTube from the TV miniseries to see how Tim Curry portrayed the character, and watch a little bit of the film, like little snippets of the TV miniseries. And I mean, he didn't do a terrible job, but there were moments in the miniseries where Tim Curry as Pennywise has these bursts of laughter when he's tormenting the characters, and that was a disconnect for me for the character being the main antagonist of the film, because I mean, sure, he could be laughing as a way of enjoying creeping them out, but at the same time it didn't come across as creepy, or scary, to where I'm going, if I were this character in this situation with this entity as a clown that's using my personal fears to entrap me and kill me, that would not look scary to me. Just watching them from afar laughing or pointing their finger at me with this big grin on their face, holding balloons, I'm going, not really creepy at all. But with Bill, there are several moments in the film where he not only uses the character's fears against them, but he torments them in ways that has them thinking, okay, this could be real. I could be losing my mind right now. Like an example is when they're in this old house, and Bill is telling the other group in the Losers Club, that's saying, he's not real. He's a figment of our imagination. He doesn't exist. He's using what scares you to trick you. And when Pennywise is tormenting one of the other characters, he turns to another character behind him, and he just lets him have it by saying, "So you don't think I'm real, do you?" Not in a mocking sense, but it's more of a, how dare you not, find me threatening or real. He takes their own viewpoint and turns it against them to have them wonder, well, if I'm not real, how am I here right in front of you? He uses that against them, which I thought was very smart and switching between their personal fears to keep them on edge and frightened, and the build up to the scares. Though, in my personal opinion, I wasn't scared at all when I was watching this film, because I've seen many scary movies, so that can play a part in that. So someone else might find it completely scary. I'm not dismissing the build-up and scary tone in the film, but in a personal, experience, I did not feel scared at all. The way, like I said, I could see the build-up heading toward the scares. And in terms of characters, which performances from the actors that really stood out to me, two came to mind. One being played by Will Wolfgard. Correction. Finn Wolfhard. I've seen him in Stranger Things, where he plays Mike. Seeing his performance in this film, not once did I think to myself, hey, that's Mike there on the screen. Why is he in Derry? Not once did I compare him to Stranger Things. He gave it his own interpretation, and I think part of the reason why I didn't even think that he was Mike, besides the fact that the character look was different, he was wearing glasses, the clothing he wore was a little bit different, even though this is in the late 80s. Stranger Things is in the early 80s. Part of it was his character used a bit of profanity, a bit sexualized, but still a good portrayal. And a slight nitpick with this character is that you don't really get to know his character personal-wise a lot like the other characters, like Bill and who else? Beverly. And overall, out of all the cast of the Losers, and this character isn't really part of the Losers Club, but Georgie, who was played by Jackson Robert Scott, his portrayal on the screen really stood out compared to everyone else on the screen, aside from Pennywise, because there were moments where not only does his performance set up the rest of the film, but later on in the film, closer to the end, there's this one moment where Bill wanders off from the group. They're trying to hunt down Pennywise to stop him, and Georgie comes up from around the corner, and it's the aftermath Georgie, where he's already dead, or he's obviously dead, but he gives this convincing performance where, for a slight moment, I'm thinking, what if he is alive? What if he was just injured and somehow, his arm that was cut off earlier in the film, or not cut off, bit off, maybe the blood stopped, or he found a way to stop the bleeding, and it plays with your mind to where you deeply want this character to be alive, because he gives this tearful performance where he's holding the handmade boat that Bill made for him, and he's saying, take me home, I want to go home and be with you and Mom and Dad, I miss you guys, and he's so convincing where you want to reach in there, like you're in the moment there with them, and you just want to put your arms around this kid and hug him and say, you know what, everything's going to be okay. But then, you know, it hits you that, you know, this can very well be a trick to draw Bill in to play on the one thing he wants the most, which is his brother to come back home with him and not be dead, because early on in the film, he is convinced, you know, he could be lost in the sewers. He could be somewhere waiting for us, and we just have to go there and look for him, and we'll find him, and we'll bring him home. And everyone's telling him, no, you need to come to terms that your brother is dead. He's not alive. He's gone. You need to move on. And that was a nice twist with the character of Pennywise, because he not only plays on people's fears, he also he plays with people's heads into giving them offerings of, you know, instead of trying to end me, you can have this, okay? I'll give you this if you let me go. And, you know, it's obviously a ploy to not only get them to give up on their mission, but to throw them off guard, to where if they do decide to take it up, and it's like, okay, you know, go on, you know, I'll let you go, I'll let you live, you know, I'll just go over here, you know, I'll leave you alone and live my life. He could then possibly kill them when they have their guard down. So there is multiple possibilities with taking in the character of Pennywise that came off as vastly different from the scenes I had seen from the 1990 miniseries, and I'm really looking forward to the second chapter, which some are saying it might happen in 2019. So I'm curious to keep up with the news over the next year on who's going to play the adult characters, and, you know, what is really going to set up in terms of a story for the second chapter. And in my personal opinion here on who I would like to be in the second part of the film, it would have to be Chris Pratt, in my honest opinion here, because I've seen a few of his films. He can play a comedic character, and he can play dramatic roles. So on any one of the male characters, except for let me look it up real quick here. Except for Mike, you know, who was played by Chosen Jacobs. He obviously couldn't play that character because the character is black, and Chris Pratt is white. So in terms of who Chris Pratt could play in the second chapter, it would be one of two possibilities, in my opinion here. I could picture him playing Finn Wolfhard's character. You know, it doesn't list the character's name. Or he could play Bill, the older brother of Georgie. You know, but I could definitely see Chris Pratt as being a good casting choice for the second chapter, because I haven't seen him play in a thriller type role before. You know, because he was in Jurassic World. He's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's been on the TV show Everwood early in his acting career. So, you know, see him play a different role that's, you know, not an action type role, not action comedy, something a little bit more, you know, dramatic slash scary. So I think it would be interesting to see him in the film. Who knows? He might get cast in it. He might not. I'll have to wait and see who is picked. But overall, I would say this first part definitely was an improvement over the miniseries. And, you know, I highly recommend it to anyone out there who has not seen this film already. Please go out and watch it, because you will not regret seeing it. When I went into the theater watching this, not once did I stop to look at my watch. You know, I didn't look at my watch out of curiosity to see what time it is or how long the movie had gone by. From the minute I got into the auditorium at 1 o'clock until 3:30 in the afternoon, did not even look at my watch, did not get up to go to get anything to eat, did not use the restroom, was completely focused on the story, and was completely entertained and drawn in by the scares, the story, the performances. I would rate this film at a 9 out of 10. Not being a 10 because of, like I said before, the build-up to the scares. When they happened, I did not jump, I did not get spooked at all. And I believe that, like I said, that's solely, entirely based upon my history on watching scary movies, being used to the tropes, to the settings, you know. That's just me. I still love the movie. You know, I'll get it when it comes out on Blu-ray, add it to my other films done by Stephen King's adaptations. And I would love to hear what everyone else's opinion on this movie is. You know, write in your comments, you know, rate, you know, if you haven't done already, please subscribe. And until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.